Now, ChatGPT is known to do some really cool and crazy stuff, but what I'm about to show you, you're probably going to want to tell your friends. So, like I said, it started with this single prompt. I want you to act as an interviewer. I will be the candidate, and you will ask me the interview questions for the backend programmer position. Here's where you can put in whatever position you want. I want you to only reply as the interviewer. Do not write all the conversation at once. I want you to only do the interview with me. Ask me the questions and wait for my answers. Don't write any explanations. Ask me the questions one by one like an interviewer would do, and wait for my answers. My first sentence is hi. ChatGPT immediately replies, hi, can you please tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into programming? And here I answer, I've always loved programming. My first program was a simple one. It was like the game of Snake, where you moved around with the WASD keys to collect some items. From that moment on, I was hooked, talking to computers with code. ChatGPT replies, great, can you tell me about a particularly challenging problem you had to solve in your previous experience as a backend developer? So you can see here, it's already kind of diving in to some detailed questions. So I say, I found one of the problems that was particularly difficult was ensuring that large-scale data resources were available for a front-end web app, which was experiencing an extremely high amount of traffic, similar to how perhaps it is when ChatGPT is overloaded. Some meta joke there, I'm not sure it got it. It says, I see. Can you walk me through how you approached and solved that problem? And now this is already getting kind of very, very detailed. And as this wasn't a real job interview, I kind of wanted to dive in and see what ChatGPT could offer me in this situation. So I ask it, hey, you're a tough interviewer. Can you ask me a more simple question? So it replies, sure. Can you tell me about a project you worked on as a backend developer? And I didn't even answer this. I wanted to know more about these questions. So I said, what are the next 5 questions that you would ask? And you can really see here, it's giving me great questions. So what technologies and programming languages are you proficient in? Can you explain a recent experience you had with using a database? Can you describe a time when you had to debug and troubleshoot a production issue? How do you stay current with new developments in the back-end programming field? Can you give an example of how you implemented security measures in your past projects? These are all great questions and ones that I should really know if I am applying for a back-end programmer position. So I follow up. I say, with your expertise as a recruiter, could you tell me the top 5 critical skills needed for a job in big tech companies? ChatGPT's reply, strong knowledge of at least one programming language commonly used for backend development, such as Python, Java, C#, or Ruby, experience with database management systems and SQL, familiarity on server-side frameworks and technologies such as Node.js, Express.js, and Ruby on Rails, understanding of and experience with RESTful API design and development, strong problem-solving skills, and the ability to debug and troubleshoot complex issues. Now, this is where I kind of took it a different way, and I started to have ChatGPT kind of construct a plan for me to get the most out of every day. So I said, for each of these 5 skills, can you write me a 5-step plan to improve my abilities in them? So it does this. It's incredible. It does them one by one. You can read them here. So strong knowledge of at least one programming language. It says, step 1, choose one language to focus on and spend time learning the fundamentals, including syntax and common libraries or frameworks. Step 2, build small projects using the chosen language to practice and solidify your understanding. Step 3, read documentation and tutorials to deepen that knowledge of the chosen language. Step 4, participate in online coding challenges and hackathons to improve your coding skills. Step 5, join online communities and forums related to the chosen language to stay updated with new developments and best practices. Now, this is incredible information. You can see that it does this for each one of those 5. I'll just let you pause the video and read them if you'd like. Now I want to kind of get a better understanding of the job landscape. So I say, what salary range could I expect for a job like this in California? And it replies, sourcing Glassdoor, that it's between $80,000 and $150,000 with a mean salary of $115,000 a year. So that's great to know. And it also mentions that if it's in San Francisco or San Jose, it's probably higher. And if it's in a big tech company, it's probably higher. Now I say, what is the job forecast for the next 10 years? And ChatGPT says it's generally positive. There's a demand for backend developers, which is driven by the growing need of companies to have well-functioning and scalable web and mobile applications. And it goes on to talk about a little more. And I kind of saw in this question, because it says, additionally, the increasing adoption of cloud computing big data and the Internet of Things technologies is expected to drive demand for backend developers. I kind of saw these subspecialties and I wanted to get some more information about them. So I said, what subspecialties should I focus on? And now ChatGPT did mention the ones that I just pointed out, but it also gave me a list of several others. And now I have this great profile for what makes kind of the perfect backend developer. So the next question I asked it was, taking everything into account and assuming I have 5 available hours per day for the next 30 days, write me a detailed plan of how to have the best chance for getting hired for this backend development position, including learning the critical skills and focusing on one subspecialty. Now here I could have chosen one of those subspecialties, but I was fine with any of them. And what's great is that ChatGPT actually writes a 30-day plan to improve the chances of getting hired. So it says day 1 through 5, choose one programming language to focus on, spend 2 to 3 hours a day learning the fundamentals, including syntax and common libraries or frameworks. It says build small projects using this chosen language to practice and solidify your understanding. So that would be the first 5 days, about 15 hours of time. Then it goes on, day 6 to 10, day 11 to 15, the next 5 days, day 21 to 25. The last 5 days, ChatGPT also mentions that I should read about one of these subspecialties and that I should prepare a portfolio of my work, including links to a GitHub or other code repositories, as well as any of those relevant projects I've built. And you can totally see that after 1 month of doing this with, say, 3 to 4 sample projects and all the code that I'm working with, you could really build a nice repository which would impress a recruiter. And finally, it says that you should research the companies that you're actually interested in working for and try to match your skills and your resume to the job offering. And of course, ChatGPT puts an asterisk on this all and says this is a general plan and you should adjust it according to your own current knowledge and the amount of time you have available. The best ways to improve your chances of getting a job is to work on real-world projects and gain hands-on experience. But this is absolutely an incredible wealth of information, and you can just keep diving deeper and deeper and really exhaustively look at all of the questions that could be asked for the job of your dreams. Go give ChatGPT the role of an interviewer and go get that job. See you next time, guys.